Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adam Show. My name remains Adam Solwafemi Olajide, and you are well. How is life? How is work to you? Hope you guys are acing it wherever you are. All right. On today's episode, we'll be looking at ways to improve sales. Right. Basically, one of the things for every entrepreneur is for us to make more sales. But before I move today, if this is your first time of being a part of the show and you really do not know what we're about, all right, we'll talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about freelancing, we talk about self improvement, better that I get to interview and they tell us about their entrepreneurial journey. All right, so the show, and if you're there, you're watching live and you'd like to introduce yourself, just put your name and your location in the comment section. Okay. Yeah, I'm back finally. This is what we have to go through Nigerian network and all that. Okay, so I was saying that like today's episode is about improving your communication to increase sales by doing these simple steps. All right. So I have some things that I highlighted that would help you to improve your communication with potential clients, with leads, with people around you that can actually help you to get more sales. All right. Number one on the list is put the spotlight on the customer. Right now, this part is one thing that like I realize that like a lot of people make mistake at. Right, whenever they are talking, they tend to want to talk more about themselves. They do not talk about the customer, or they do not want to really know who the customer is, or like try to like ask more questions about the customer. They just focus on themselves. They talk about the product and like how the product has done this and done that, but they don't realize that like at the end of the day, the person that would actually purchase that product from you is the customer. So if you spend so much time trying to like talk about you, trying to talk about your product, it would not work. You need to know where your customer is coming from. You need to ask questions, relevant questions, for you to have a better understanding of uh, who they are, right, what they represent, and how you can actually then convince them to what's the word, to buy the product from you. As they say, people really do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you do not focus on them, if you do not shine the spotlight on them, trying to know more about them, trying to ask questions about them, trying to like make them feel important, right, then at the end of the day, you are not going to make more sales. People just feel that like you are a self-centered person who only thinks about herself or himself. All right. So that's the first point on the list. The second point that I have here is focus on a topic that they love, that you are vast in. Now, this is very, very important, right? One of the ways in which you can actually ease into to communicating with someone is when you can actually dig deep and then find that topic that like they are passionate about, they love, right? And you have a knowledge in, because it is not enough for you to like talk about something that like they love and you do not have any idea about it. Now, it could still work in your favor in the sense that like if you want to like go down that path, like let's say somebody talks about football or is interested in football and you have no idea about it, the best you could do is that like try to ask relevant questions to help you navigate through. All right. And you could ask them like, okay, so can you tell me more about this thing? Why do you love this thing? Why are you passionate about it? Tell me more about this thing. Right now, you would see them glow up, you see them happy, you see them excited to actually tell you about something that like they're really, really passionate about. Now, if you have more knowledge in it, it would help you to navigate through the discussion and then like chip in more things, right? Back and forth, having some back and forth and like asking more questions, all right? But if you do not, just ask questions that can help you to ask more questions, right? Like questions that by the time they answer, you can pick something from what they said, and then like you ask more questions from that particular thing that like they've actually said. All right, so that's number 2 on the point. Number 3 is laugh easily. Now, one of the ways in which you can get someone's trust is when you tend to do what? When you tend to like laugh seamlessly, right? It's makes you feel relaxed, and it also makes the person feel that like, hey, you can be trusted. All right. Learn to have good laughs. Learn to like chip in 1 or 2 jokes in between whatever it is that like you're actually discussing at that point in time. Just make sure that like you are relaxed, you're in your element, and you can have a good laugh. Everything is not going to be you trying to be serious every single time, but you also cracking jokes and then like, making them laugh, making yourself laugh, and you actually enjoying your own joke. It is not enough for you to just crack a joke and you don't even enjoy what you're cracking. You're like you're trying so hard to make the other person laugh that it sounds dry in your own ears. All right, so don't do that. Number 4 on the list is practice circling. Now, what do we mean by circling? Now, let's say, for instance, as you are trying to know your customer better, as you're trying to like communicate with the person, asking them questions, and then they tell you something, right? Now, find a way in which you can bring out a point from what they have said, and then citing an example as to something that has also happened in your life, right? Now, let's say, for instance, I am discussing with someone, and then like the person tells me that like that the person what example can I actually right now? I wanted to use an embarrassing example, but I'm going to skip that. Let's for a new example. All right, let's say secondary school life is tough. That like the person actually had a tough time during secondary school. Now, to buttress the point that like you actually were listening to them, you could actually say that like, yes, that's true, because it reminds me of the time that I was in secondary school and I actually passed through the same thing similar to what you yourself actually passed through. Now, it goes to tell the person that like you are attentive, you paid attention to details, and you also resonate with them. All right. It shows that like you actually also resonates with them. So you could practice circling whenever what's the word? You're having a conversation with someone. Then number 5 is never ever make assumptions. Now, one of the things that like you would realize that like the more you get to talk to people, the more you tend to meet new people, your brain has a way of profiling them, making yourself feel that like, okay, I have met this type of person before, so therefore this is how this person is going to react, or this is how this person is going to behave. And if care is not taken, you might actually judge a book by its cover without really bothering about the content. So don't make assumptions whenever you meet anybody, right, based on how they look, how they dress, and all that. Take out time to try to know them as much as possible, right? Treat everybody individually. Do not just have this stereotypical mindset about people and then feel that, like, okay, because one person has acted this way before in the past, this person is going to act this way today or right now. And if you can do that, if you can treat everybody individually without making assumptions that like, okay, this person is going to be this way, it would blow your mind how people would actually be drawn to you, because they would realize that like, okay, you don't see them as every other person sees them, you see them as an individual. All right. My penultimate number is read body language. Now, it is very, very important for you while communicating with people that like you have a great posture. It is very, very important. If people would have to trust you, if people would have to believe what you're saying, then your posture has to be correct. You have to stand upright. You have to like plant your feet firmly on the ground. You have to like show that like you're confident enough to be able to like win them over. All right, because if let's say for instance you're trying to like pass across a message and like you're all slouched and your eyes are like dashing left and right, and you can't even like look into their eyes to talk to them and have a better posture, it goes to tell you that like these people would not want to do business with you. But if you have a great posture, if you are relaxed and like you can spread out and actually act like you own it, right? Like this is yours, this is your terrain, and I am confident about it. People would believe what you believe in. So if your body language is telling them that like you don't believe in this thing, that is what people would actually go with. It goes beyond what you just say, but how you actually position yourself, how you actually stand, how you actually pose, as it were, tells people how confident you are and if they can actually believe you to do business with you or to actually relate with you. And then the last but not least number on my list is master your voice tone. Just the same way as your body language is very, very important while communicating with people, your voice tone is equally important. All right. Now, when you are communicating with someone, there's something that like I would usually advise people to do. Try to mirror the way the person talks. If the person is talking at a slow pace rather, try as much as possible to try to meet them at that point. Now, I would not suggest that like you go lower than they are, but if they are speaking at a low pace, it's either you match them or you are just close to that point, but not slower than they are. And if they are talking fast, you can also match the energy, but please do not overdo it. All right. You do not want to outshine them at what they do because they will feel that like you're trying to like mimic them and trying to like create a caricature of whatever it is that like they're actually doing at that point in time, and it can actually piss people off if people actually feel that like you are mimicking them, right? So try as much as possible whenever you're talking to someone. If the person is slow paced, don't go off the handle, don't be too fast, right? Go at their own pace, and also let your tonality have that confidence too. It is very, very important, all right, because your voice goes a long way. Over time I have had to learn how to talk, right? And I'm still practicing, and it is something that like it is doable. You yourself, if you feel that like you are not audible enough, one of the exercises I'm going to give to you is like read a page a day and try to be as audible as possible. Record yourself and listen back to how you pronounce every word, how you enunciated each word, and then like ask yourself that like, okay, if I were the customer, if I were the person that like wanted to buy this product or this thing from this person, would I actually buy from that person after hearing the way the person sounds? So you need to be able to like work on how you sound and then improve your voice. All right. So that's that about that. If you're able to do all this, I can actually assure you that like you would be able to make more sales because your communication would be better. If you have actually learned something from this episode today, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching from YouTube, if you're watching from Facebook, please share it with your loved ones and tell them about this program. All right. We have come to the end of today's program. Thank you guys for sticking around. And as I always say, be the best version God has created you to be. From myself, Adam Sulwa from Ilajide, I say have a great evening. Bye-bye, guys.